Hello, welcome back to the channel. So this is one of my favorite videos I do every year, and it's my roundup of Claymore 2025. So I've been around Claymore, took photos of all the tables, talk a bit about them, talk about the event. So if you don't know the Scottish gaming calendar, we have Carronade in May, Claymore in August, and there's Taj as well, which I've never managed to get over to, and they're the main historical gaming shows in Scotland. So this time I wasn't driving myself, so I had to get an early train up to Glasgow to get a lift over to Edinburgh, but we got there for 10 o'clock. I had 4 hours at the venue because we had a hard cut off at 2 because we had an event to run on the Saturday night. So this is me on the beach on the way to the train station. I live in a lovely part of the world. So Claymore is set in our college, and there's a dinner hall, a gym hall, and sort of another wee room used for the bring and buy. So this is a gym hall, and it's a traditional wargame show. Tables in the middle, traders on the outside. Now, what it does have is this outdoor space, which you have to go through to get from the two main rooms. Which on a day like it was a lovely sunny day. It's lovely. As a club, we always have a club meet up for lunch and chat about our day so far. And we were able to have it outside, which was gorgeous. But have been in other years when it's been raining. Never pleasant. That's a Scottish summer for you. And this is a bring and buy hall as well, which was busy throughout the day. Now, I'm going to talk through the games and the tables. Now, what I would say is my photos mixed up all the pictures, so there might be a bit of bouncing around. But this is Tyneside Gamers doing an Ancients game. Really nice to see such a large amount of tables, two bottle lines clashing. It certainly looked and felt like an ancient game should. This was a Peter Pig 6mm demo board. I love 6mm gaming. I think you get a lovely size and feel for a battlefield, but as I've got a bit older, I've wanted bigger models. 15mm seems to be my sweet spot for small stuff at the moment. And this, more pictures of this later on. I'd seen this board before, but it's sort of obviously a D-Day beach landing, massive, lots of, give you a sense of the scale and levels of support and what it means to be that infantryman right at the front with the massive armada behind you. This was an Italian Wars 28mm battle. It's a siege with siege lines getting attacked from behind. One of the things Italian Wars Landsknechts does is beautiful, bright colours, and they're always a spectacle to behold. Yeah, that's a close-up of the figures. This was Midgard. Now, because I was on a time frame, I had shopping and people to see and chat to, didn't get a chance to go around and talk to all the games I wanted to. Midgard's a set of rules I've picked up that I'll be wanting to give a go. So hopefully in the future, I'll be able to delve into that. This was Age of Sigmar. Nice to see some nice fantasy Age of Sigmar on the table. This was up in my top 3 boards for the day, and more about personal interest. So over the next 12 months, we're going to be doing some 28mm Peninsular War stuff with the club, and this was I think it was like a Lines of Torres Vedras game. Certainly Portugal, cliffs, strongholds, French attacking, lovely table. And again, you know I like my samurai. I've picked up an ungodly amount of samurai from bringing buys over the years. I just need to settle down and paint it. And there were 3 really nice samurai tables. This was from Chris Brown's Spit Vietnam game. Again, took this photo because I like wee vignettes. If you can put on a game board at shows, and we're thinking about that because we've got our club's first display boards, games, participation games, next year at Carronade. But yeah, wee vignettes to make the tabletop come alive. This was Falkirk and District. This was Daleks Invasion Earth. It's Daleks versus, I think it was Terminator Genesis figures representing the humans. Quite a fun looking game. Now, this is one of the key things I want to go to and find out about Conflict 47. So I've got all the information I kind of needed. You know what? Next up, I just need to look at the force composition and get into the rules of that and think about. So I want to convert some stuff. I've already got like a proper evil German army with zombies and vampires and werewolves, and I want to do sort of a British special forces, chaplains and nuns as well, going in to take out the vampires. So I want to know how I can adapt and convert that. But yeah, the Rift Dice and stuff sounds pretty cool. Cowboy game. I think this was What a Cowboy. We play a lot of cowboy games in the club. Great fun. Naval games. This looked pretty cool. So the British are coming to attack a hypothetical uh, American port. The Americans are trying to get to the main ship before the British can board it, take it, sink it. This is Crossfire Games. The Necromunda board made another comeback. Don't know what set of rules this was. Some sort of small fantasy skirmish game. That's a bit more of a close up. I did say these photos were a bit mixed up of that naval game. I was chatting to these folks at Falkirk, and it's never mind the Bill Hooks fantasy. So you've got a War of the Roses army fighting sort of a fantasy frog army, amphibian army, and it looked pretty cool. There's another photo of that board. Really nice looking board and terrain as well. That's that Ancients game again. Just seeing those two lines clash. Samurai. Now this board you'll see later on had a sort of European ship. I think like a Portuguese ship. A bit more of a skirmish game. I didn't get the set of rules that they were using. This is that Peninsula War battle again. Took this because interested. When I go to shows, I'm always looking at interesting ways of doing terrain. So this was to remind me on about the vineyards. Yeah, this is the boat I was talking about from that samurai picture earlier. Conflict 47. In the back, there's a bag of fireflies, and if you sort of went along and had a demo and stuff, you got a free firefly figure, which was nice. This was Balkan Wars. This was Glasgow and District Wargames Club. Again, 28 mils just look lovely. I don't do sci-fi skirmish, but if I did, this is a board I'd want to play it on. Brilliant looking board. This was a really interesting board. It was some sort of Netherlands, I think, colonial battle, maybe Africa or Caribbean. It's an Age of Sigmar board again. This was a 15 mil, 7-year war. So this is another one of those samurai boards. Again, 28 mil. It's just amazing looking. Test Resolve. So Test Resolve rules are available to buy and games to show off. And that's primarily War of the Roses. That's more of those 28 mil Peninsula War board. That's Portuguese Cliff Fortress. That's Samurai again. Again, really, paddy fields. I'm really interested in sort of making terrain for my boards. That's a 28 mil Vietnam game. I can see with the Crash 2 Hueys. And again, I've got a 15 mil Vietnam project, which I've been making terrain for. So this picture give me an idea of adapting and making some terrain. Conflict 47. This was a samurai again. More samurai. No, I make no apologies for taking loads of photos of samurai boards. This was Glasgow Phoenix Wargames Club, which is Ambush at Elithan. So it's the scene from Two Towers. where Faramir and his rangers ambush the Harad. Seen this a few times at shows. This is the G3 game, some sort of sci-fi racing game. And this is the 28mm Peninsula War game with our sort of Portuguese heliograph post up on the rocks there. Again, like I was saying earlier, it's just wee details like that makes you want to look at boards and find out what's going on. Tyneside Club for that big ancient game. This was Guruk Wargames Club using PK and playing 15mm Napoleonics, which is Quatre Bras. This is another picture of that game I was talking about earlier. I think it's a Dutch colonial game. 40k looks maybe it's like Kill Team, not Kill Team, Combat Patrol. This is from that fantasy Bill Hooks game I was talking about earlier. This is the leader of the amphibian, the frogs, which I thought was just a nice wee piece on the table. That's another look at that fantastic sci-fi skirmish board. Air combat. So I wasn't really much interested in air combat Flirt with Wings of War in the past. This was here looking good. And actually last Wednesday we played Blood Red Skies for the first time. And it looked really interesting. More Conflict 47. Like I say, these pictures were all messed up. This was using the Warhammer Historical Legends of Wild West rules using Playmobil figures. This was just me catching a bit of terrain on the board. This is from that Italian War Siege. This was a sort of siege line camp. Took it because I just love the vibrancy of the colours and the tents there. This was interesting. I didn't get the set of rules of this was, but it's a Battle for Balin's Tomb, which is from the Fellowship of the Ring, where the Fellowship is trapped in Moria. It's quite nice to see quite a light and bright looking Balin's Tomb there, which I'm sure it's how the dwarves would want it. Bit of Blood Bowl Sevens, which is a cut down version of Blood Bowl. This was close up of that Midgard game again. It's that Samurai Port game. The 7-year war game. That's the full scale of that beach assault game. And finally, more samurai. And actually, what I liked about this photo is I'm doing samurai army. Now, most samurai would have their own sort of colours and heraldry. I'm going for predominant colours throughout my armies. And this just shows how impactful sort of almost a mono-coloured army can be in the Senjuku period samurai rules. So there you go. So Claymore, it's it's a bit of a trek for us to get to. But certainly, obviously, in Scotland, we're limited on easier clubs shows to get to. I really enjoy Claymore. Think I prefer Carronade more. It's closer. I know more people. Spent loads of money on the bring and buy. Picked up different bits and bobs. Really, really good day. Really fun day. Love catching up, chatting to people, spending the day talking about war games. Again, I'd love to see if the scope's there for some of our clubs in to have more panels, maybe interactive questions. The Joyous Six I got to last year, unfortunately couldn't make it this year. Sort of opened my eyes to that. But anyway, if you went to Claymore, what was your favourite bit? What was your favourite board? I look forward to chatting to you again and hope you have a great time with the hobby at the moment. That's bye for now. Goodbye.